Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tingling Tea, where we spill the tea on the strange and the supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the creepy and the cryptid, and all things phenomenally freaky. Tonight, I'd like to introduce my co host. First, may I introduce, and we missed her last week, Miss Annebelle Chimpton. Hi!
Raised from the dead, Les.
I see, and you look glamorous still.
Thank you.
And without further ado, we need to introduce our other co-host, and that is August Eddie Peterson. Hello.
Hello. The crown
Hello,
started
hello.
this week, so I'm celebrating. I'm preparing for when I get married into the royal family.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Some
Thank
people
you.
might have issue with that, but okay.
Yes, I know. I'll have to break it to him slowly.
You married royalty, honey. You married royalty. So, how was your? We missed you last week. Although we did have some really great guests with us last week. I mean, they could, of course, not replace you. But how was your week last week?
I'll tell you what, Les. There's something I found, and that's true terror, and that is traveling in the time of COVID.
Oh, we might
What?
have to look at that.
The flight is the least scary part, but going into the stores in the Midwest is the horrifying part.
Honey, I totally know.
Zero
know.
mask, zero masks.
The option of either wearing a mask or
Yeah.
not. And will
Oh,
stare you down if they ain't got one on, daring you to tell them that they ain't got no mask on.
It's a challenge.
Definitely.
it's too bad that they're turning red as we speak. Those states.
Yep, true.
That is sad.
Oh
Very
well.
sad.
Oh well. Remains to be seen. That might be another scary conversation we'll have to have. But anyway, tonight, there was something that we actually talked about in the future or in the past that we were talking about when we were talking about goes in correlation with TikTok, and that was Randonautica. Remember we were talking about Randonautica, how Randonautica was also a portion of TikTok, TikTok being scary itself and capturing all these ghosts and stuff like that. So Randonautica, and Hash, you can start that footage if you'd like to. Randonautica is an app that actually was introduced to TikTok recently. It is Portmanteau Nautica. Portmanteau is some kind of like what is called random, a French version of it. And even that scary. That sounds scary, but it's an app
Pimento Nautica?
Portmanteau. So this is a footage
Okay.
from Slapcam, which I would like you all to go to Slapcam's YouTube channel and like and subscribe.
I love me some slapped ham.
I do too. And
Favorite Thanksgiving dinner.
yeah, exactly. Slap ham it is. And anyway, they usually have some really great content on there. So go and like and subscribe, Slapped Ham, and make sure that you click the bell when anything new comes up because they always have some very interesting content. But anyway, Randonautica was started, I think, in February 22nd, 2020, and it was founded by Joshua Langfelder. It's randomly generates coordinates that enables the user to explore their local area and report on their findings. So Randonautica, according to its creators, is an attractor of strange things, letting one choose specific coordinates based on a certain theme. It has gained controversy after several reports of the app generating coordinates seemingly coincidentally while disturbing things were present. And the app is currently in its beta version. So basically what it does is it reads your thoughts, the what your thoughts are attracting, and then whatever your intent is, it focuses it into the app, and then based on that, the app, brings you to that location, and you go on an adventure to try to find it. Now, recently, some of the things that have happened, and this is probably the most notable case that has happened, is some kids did a Randonautica, and their intent was death. And what they found, they went to a beach. The location took them to a beach. They went to the beach. They found a suitcase, and inside the suitcase was a black plastic bag that, of course, smelled to high heaven. They knew that it was obviously something that they shouldn't have had there. And so they called the police to find out that when the police opened up the contents of the black bag, that there were body parts in there. and they then found that the body parts belonged to two victims.
Were they users of the app?
So I don't know if they were users of the app per se. I don't know that, but these kids found their body.
So let me see if I understand this. Let me see if I understand this. You, the user, enter in your intention, or it reads your mind about your intention. I'm not sure which. And then it randomly picks a location near where you are, a physical location near where you are, and it's up to you to go to that location, and that location will somehow connect to the intention that you had.
Right. So it said it generates 3 types of coordinates, like an attractor, a void, and an anomaly. So the attractor.
What are we looking at, by the way? Look at this video.
So their intention, I'm not sure what they found, but look what they came up across. Yes.
What?
Yes. And it was exactly what they
They thought of that guy.
Yeah. So I think that they were looking for something particular, like something weird, and they found this random guy nude, hiding in a corner. But this one is very interesting too, and this girl has had to prove this. So they were looking for something scary or creepy. They were looking for, and a lot of it that people have said is it's like it's a change in the matrix. So you get to see something in a different realm or a different, what's the word? Reality, basically. So, or a different,
like plane or a different.
Yeah, different, maybe not the same time as we're on in a different plane. Exactly. So they believe that you have a duplicate somewhere doing exactly the same thing or not the same thing as you, but
so
anyway,
you're saying this could be like simulation theory. Like we're going to change
like
it.
Matrix. Yes. Kind of like a
Okay.
glitch in the matrix, basically. So in this scenario right here, she was looking for something scary. So when they were looking back from her rearview mirror to see these creepy people walking in a slow motion, as if they were walking out of time, but in her rear camera, there's nobody in the camera, but they could physically see these people. These people wished for death. They wanted to see death, and they found abandoned coffins. The app led them to abandoned coffins.
Weird.
Yes.
That's pretty wild.
It's very creepy. Look at that. Look at all these abandoned coffins. I mean, some of the stuff that they found has just been horrific. Somebody's intent was evil, and they pulled up the spot, put them exactly at the location of some evil woman with blacked out eyes, cursing under her breath at them.
That's like a black-eyed adult.
Yes, exactly.
A bee.
Black-eyed kid, all grown up.
Black-eyed adult. She obviously was high on something, but the whole inside of her eye was black based on what they were seeing.
That is totally creepy.
Yeah.
So has the maker of this app that's horrific.
So that's like an Iron Maiden, basically.
So has the maker of this app responded to any of these experiences?
I mean, why would he respond to it? Obviously, this is like, some kind of a morbid fascination for a lot of people. And so a lot of people use it. And then they film their adventures. So why would he have to speak to that? If he says that that's what the app does, then it's effective in that. Wow.
That's weird.
Yep. I mean, they have come across some really, really weird, but it somehow reads the algorithm of your brain. That's all that they can say. And
that's some crazy coding stuff.
I'm curious how many people just like don't find anything though. Like, it's got to be a pretty big percent, right?
There is a percentage of people that don't find anything, but most people find pretty much what their intention is.
I would totally do this. I would definitely do this. How about you, Annebelle?
I would definitely do this. I would go look for the most evil thing because I don't think I'm going to run into anything.
And what would that be?
I don't know. What do you think would be the most evil intent?
The evilest intent that I could ever think of is evil itself.
Trump or someone else?
That would be something if your intention was to find Donald Trump.
That would be definitely something that I would follow, that I would watch.
Oh God.
So would you do this, Les? Is this something that you would try?
No. because you know what it is, as scientific as it sounds, I don't know what it is, and so I have not figured out what it is, so therefore I will not partake in it.
So I understand that, but having been around people that code for many, many years of my life, the idea that there is some sort of code that reads a mind is so far advanced. Like we can't even figure out some of the latest like machine learning stuff. We can't
The
even figure
haunted
that
code.
stuff.
Ghost in the code.
Goes to the code.
The
I
idea
don't
that we
know.
could actually create code that could read someone's mind is so beyond anyone that I have ever worked with. And I work with some pretty smart people.
It reads your mind and your energy.
And look what that person found is this woman. Oh.
Yeah, a weird group of people. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some very weird things happen, and then I've seen some things that doesn't happen at all with people, you know. But they keep doing it until they come across whatever it is. And it's kind of like playing one of those 8 balls that you remember used to shake up and it tells you your future. It's kind of similar to that kind of ideology, in my opinion.
She's looking at something in the background in this photo, but I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Oh, she was doing a challenge, and there's some weird people in the background.
Are there? I don't see anybody.
I don't see him. I would totally do this.
Oh, it says wait for it.
Okay.
So what did she find?
We're still waiting. A dog? Did she find a dog? No.
No, the people are getting in their costumes. Get another couple. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
What in the heck?
Okay. Maybe that's a prayer group.
Yeah, I was about to say I used to do that at school.
On a pole?
Prayer around the flagpole.
What church y'all go to?
The southern ones.
Oh.
I didn't go to that church, but we didn't do any flagpole prayer. But
I just don't know what the heck that is. That's just weird. That's just weirdness. I don't know. All I know is that it to me, anything that I feel is attached to TikTok in any way, there's just something just strange about it and creepy about it. So
fake but freaky. I want to do it. I want to do this like right now.
Really? I think you should. Can you do it right now? Can you do it right now?
I have the app. And
wait, if you have the app, can you try to do this? Can we try to stream it right now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. This is going to another level.
Yeah,
all right. So Annebelle.
So we have to decide on an intention.
I'm not playing. Y'all decide on
Okay. So let's decide on an intention. Should it be, let's decide on something scary. Shall we?
Taxes.
Lack of a check from the government. So how about the black-eyed kids?
Hell no. Listen. I don't believe in
You
this.
said something scary.
I don't believe in this, but I have limits.
Yes. I know she won't do that. So let's do something else.
All right. So let's do a coven, a witch coven.
A witch coven.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all.
Okay, so here's the screen I'm looking at. I just have to hit.
Are we going to be able to do this, Hash? I'm not really sure how we're going to manage. All right.
Generate.
Well, we'll just try it.
It's generating.
Is it light outside? Do you need a light?
I am set. How far away?
You're set. Okay.
Oh, that's really close. I can walk there.
Oh,
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, that's really close. Okay,
Good.
so I have a headlamp.
Oh, you're like always prepared.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Okay, so I need a minute or two. I'm gonna just grab my jacket and I'll log back in when I'm outside.
Cool. Excellent. I'm excited. This is turning into a good show. Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see
Go
you guys.
for it, Annebelle.
All right. she's crazy. Y'all are crazy. Both of y'all are crazy.
Oh man.
I am like, oh my gosh, I'm mortified.
I'm excited. I got to check this out. I've got to download it on my app.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Does it
I can't believe it.
does it come just with the iOS, or is there an Android version?
Look, you're on your own on that. I only just watched this videos, and I think I'm about to watch another one.
Does only the iOS version read your mind, or do they both read your mind?
No,
are they compatible
app
with the brain?
The whole entire app, no matter what you download it to, reads your algorithm. So
why? What makes you think that it does? Just what people have said in the past?
Look, I go by the creep value that just gave me the creeps when she just said that she's going to do this. So,
all right. So we said a witch coven.
Yes.
And Annebelle is now getting ready. She is going to put on all of her outdoor gear and get the camera ready, I guess. And then she said that it was very close, so we should be able to see this pretty quickly, I think.
Yes. Just like I'm speechless.
All right, so let's bring it.
Okay.
So this is called Rando Nautica.
Rando Nautica, or it's called a portmanteau. Where portmanteau is a French word for like traveling wherever, like someone who has a suitcase and just travels wherever. So that's basically what you're doing.
Oh, Annebelle is back, and she's outside. It looks like she's outside.
Okay, she's here.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Oh, she put
So
in the field.
My stuff is a little spotty.
Okay. Well, you're coming in fine. We can see you, sort of, and we can see that it's also really dark.
Yeah, Hash, maybe you want to pull Annebelle up as primary.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good. We can see
looking up the street.
How far is it supposed to be?
It's not too far. Actually, that's making it worse. So we're not going too far. It's just a couple blocks up.
Okay.
Oh, good. Excellent.
What happened?
I don't know. We lost her somehow. We'll get her back. Oh, Annebelle.
Annebelle!
She's just going to go to a witch coven. She'll see like a cauldron or something.
Okay.
There'll be a projection on the window like you had in Halloween.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe she'll run into
sorry, my cell phone quality here is not great.
That's okay. Just keep trying. It's a lovely neighborhood that you live in.
But if I get there, I'll take photos, so it's possible to see what I see.
Okay, good.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If we find a witch coven close to your house,
maybe he'll find a DVD of Hocus Pocus.
I don't think that's the kind of witch coven that she's gonna find.
Well, let's see. Let's see if those coders really did their job.
It's like 2 more blocks up about. So we're looking for coven. Witch coven. That was the
coven.
And you actually typed witch coven in the app? Annebelle.
Say it again.
Annebelle. You actually typed witch coven in the app? Oh, we lost her again.
Oh, we'll get her again.
Oh goodness. Oh.
Yeah, so you've never seen the interface with this, right? So we don't know if you type it in or you just hold it to your head and think about something.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that kitschy. I think that all you do is that you do it obviously. I don't know. I don't know what or how this functions. But if she is able to actually see it, then. So what are you seeing on your screen?
So all it gave me was the coordinates.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just following the coordinates that it got me.
And you typed inside.
Sorry, I'm trying to do
That's okay. You typed on the app Witch Coven.
Yeah, so the app, I can't share my app screen, but all it did was it basically gave me a Google Map pin.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to share my map screen either to the world.
Right, of course. No, you don't want to do that.
But yeah, it just gave me a Google Map pin, and I'm now just walking there.
Good. And are you seeing any witch brews or smoke or?
Nothing spooky so far. I'm kind of walking up the road at the same speed as the FedEx truck. So that's the scariest thing we've seen so far.
Listen, if there's a real witch coven there, they're not going to be that obvious, Addie.
Are there any like black cats hanging out?
There are a couple neighborhood cats that I know kind of in this area. Okay, we're 2 blocks away.
Wait, didn't you say that 2 blocks ago? Wait, what?
Well, yeah, come on. It's dark and it's spooky at night.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
That is scary. Now we got to stretch. We got to stretch this conversation for 2 more blocks. That's the scariest part of this whole broadcast.
Oh my goodness!
By the way, we had someone on Facebook ask us if this works in Brooklyn. Yeah, I think it works anywhere.
It
works anywhere. It does like a kilometer away from your location or somewhere else if you want, and then it just picks a random spot based on some like options I think you can pick in the app.
So it does work.
I did the suggested one, which was an anomaly type of location, and I guess we're going to find out where it takes me.
So that's what I said, that it actually gives you 3 types of coordinates: an attractor, a void, or an anomaly. And an attractor is a coordinate with the highest, most significant concentration of quantum dots, which could possibly inspire and uplift the users. A void is the antonym of it, and an anomaly is can be described as both an attractor and a void. Yep. And it's inspired by the chaos theory and Guy Debord's theory of the derived, which I have no idea what that is. And the quantum data is powered by the Australian National University.
Well, I'm really excited. I think this is going to be fun. Hopefully it's not like a complete dud.
No. Well, now I could say that if you now do Random Nautica, Annebelle, you are now called a random knot. I can ask.
I'm a randonaut?
A randonaut, yes.
Do you get like a pin, or is there a ceremony or something?
You can call me a believer as well.
A believer? Well, hey, listen, and you're quite the skeptic. So if you come across what it is that your intention is, then you got to say 100%.
So okay, here's the thing too. If this is the street I think it is, this might be kind of a scary alleyway.
Oh, exciting.
Oh,
so
no.
I walk this neighborhood all the time. So fortunately, the neighborhood itself isn't that spooky, but there's a couple alleyways that are a little scary to walk at night because they're just dark.
Well, you have that flashlight on your forehead. You're all set.
That's not what you say, August. You say, don't do it.
That's how every horror movie ends with a happy ending.
Yeah, exactly. And one friend that goads you into it.
What? Keep walking, Annebelle.
Gosh.
You're safe. Give me a break.
And I'm gonna be the black person in the theater. Don't do it. Don't do it, girl.
I'm the white person who's like, it's totally fine. I don't see. There's scary things in this house. Let's move in. How about that? Let's have the whole family move in. Who cares that 10 people were massacred here last week? It's fine.
Oh my God.
That brings the price down. We learned that.
Yes, it does bring the price down. And you got to be aggressive when it comes to real estate. Got to take advantage of everything.
This is the first time I've gotten to use my hand gimbal I have. And I got to say, if you're ever out doing field stuff, this is a pretty handy tool. I think it's been pretty smooth.
And what company makes that one?
This is a DJI Osmo 2. It's a handheld like phone gimbal for your phone, so it stabilizes whenever you move your hand around. Oh wait, this might be it.
Ooh, exciting. So Annabelle's getting really close to the location.
You know, here's the thing though, and living in Portland, if we're looking for a witch coven, that's not a very tall order. Yeah, this is it.
They're on like every block.
That's that you said. That's what I'm saying.
I might accidentally stumble across like the weekly neighborhood block meetup for it. So,
You don't necessarily have to share
As
any
long
more
as-
about your
listen,
specific
as long as you
location.
don't come across a child sacrifice, I'm good. That's what I'm saying. That is
so
But if there's something in a cauldron, I do suggest you drink it.
we're here,
okay. So what do you see?
suburbia.
Nothing.
Not suburbia. It's just a neighborhood street. I don't see anything out of the familiar.
It looks like where they filmed Halloween.
Is that
Yeah.
is that somebody's house? The witch covenant? That's somebody's house?
Yeah, it says Fort Awesome on the awning going inside. I've walked by that before actually, and it's a pretty sweet looking house.
Fort Awesome.
Or awesome.
So,
No witch coven.
well,
Hey Hash, can you make Annabelle in the big picture? I don't know what you call it. There
Yeah,
you go.
Thank you.
It's all
So-
about you, Annabelle. Show us what's around with your gimbal, your fancy gimbal. I
Ah,
see sky and a little bit of the top of a house. Okay, there it is. There's the.
those houses are huge.
Yeah.
They're nice. Are any of them for sale? I'm not going to move.
you're probably going to pay similar New York City prices for these ones.
Oof. Oof.
Those houses look just like I imagined them to look in Portland, just like Grimm, the houses
Yeah.
in Grimm.
Yeah, those spooky Instagram haunted
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say I don't see anything here for it. You know,
Okay.
if
So-
nothing else, it was a nice walk. It's not raining for once in November.
So I
Someone,
would say-
someone from Facebook wants you to knock on some doors.
No, no.
If you donate to my Patreon, I will knock on doors for you.
Oh, there you go.
PayPal at Annabelle Chimpton.
So would you say that this app is a dud, or would you say that you have to give it a second try?
Here's what I'll say based on what I've just done. It got me to go outside and go on a nice walk through my neighborhood.
Okay.
That being said, I could see it leading you to scary situations for sure.
I think it would. I think it would. Maybe we need to simplify it and say looking for a cat or a dog or something like that.
That's
Really? You
here.
think a witch coven is too confusing for this app that reads your mind?
I think a witch coven. I think a witch coven is a lot more clandestine than a cat or a dog. And if there is a witch coven in Annabelle's neighborhood, you would know it was there.
You know, Fort Awesome.
I kind of want to go look at Fort Awesome. Can you knock on Fort Awesome's door?
She is away from Fort Awesome.
Oh no!
Yeah, I started my walk back so that I can make it back for the rest of the show.
No. Well, that was really awesome. Thank you so much, Annabelle, for walking all the way out there.
Yay!
Yes.
I'm so happy that we did
Like I
this.
said, no problem. My initial thoughts are it got us to go on a walk. And I don't think there's too much wrong with that.
No, but I do think that we should do another episode and see if it actually is a way. I think that you should give something a second try or a third try to actually say my conclusion is that this does not work.
Okay, so here's the deal. I walked out into the dark with my headlamp on. Who else is willing to give this a shot? Thank you for the nice light.
I will give this a shot. I will definitely do this.
August is
What if
gonna
we
do it.
all come in from the field and we all do the same intent?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not
And
in my neighborhood.
it can be a cat or a dog.
Okay, a
Or
cat or a dog I could do, but what it might do is bring me to my own home.
Well, then you have the shortest freaking Randonautica in the world. You don't have to walk anywhere.
It's gonna go like, lady, what are you talking about? You got 5. You're looking for another cat.
I don't know. Randonautica, this is like worse than Geraldo Rivera's The Mystery of Al Capone's Vaults. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
I watched that thing for
awful.
2 hours.
I did too. Sensationalism. What an awful. That I think that we look, if we're going for something as simple as a cat or a dog,
Come on, we're not like the furry tea. We're the tingling tea.
Oh, I'm ready to do some tingling.
look, but my whole premise of being here is
Les
that
is not.
I don't partake. So if you, I respect it. If I don't know what it's all about, I respect it enough to keep my nose out of it.
All right. Next time, Annebelle and I will both do something.
Okay.
I have to now go to Amazon and get a gimbal and a freaking headlamp.
These aren't too bad. I think that field reporting is the future.
Well, I agree with you
I might
on
need to
that.
also upgrade my data plan apparently because I'm getting warnings now.
That is frightening. To me, that is the scariest.
That is.
You get that warning and you're like, I have 5% left.
Warning I haven't seen in 8 months with the whole working from home and not leaving my house thing.
Oh goodness. No.
It's
Listen,
true.
I don't think I could do random Nautica in my neighborhood though.
Okay.
And my neighborhood, you all live in areas where it's just a little bit more remote than mine, and mine is very urban. So I don't know if I'll find. I might find some scary stuff, but not what y'all would find.
I'll tell you.
You all, let me tell you something. Yes, 2 or 3 days ago, while Annebelle is walking back, I heard all these sirens coming down my street. Sirens. And normally it might be like a house fire or something like this.
Sure.
No, this was police in full force, about 8 cars.
Oh.
I'm looking down the street because I live like if you think of something like being a perpendicular, I live in the center of the street looking down another one-way street.
Oh, okay.
I see a car coming the wrong way. It was like a SUV coming the wrong way down the one-way street with police chasing behind it.
What? You saw a police chase?
They pull up beside the car and they bump the guy's car. The guy gets out of the car and starts running through the houses. And
wow.
And let me
oh
tell
my
you,
gosh.
I know. I was like, get him. They were running.
You were out of the window yelling at the police to get him?
Right here. I said, get him. He ran in between somebody's house. He ran into these houses. And look, I obviously have nothing better to do. I was, distracted from work watching this whole thing. And all these police officers were chasing this guy. Now, I want you to understand, the guy was a big guy, but he was out of shape, but so were the police officers. I've never seen so much huffing and puffing in all my life.
Why did you not videotape this whole thing? That would have been perfect content.
Because people were out on the street videotaping the whole thing, and I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted to be the neighbor screaming from the house, get him. So anyway,
nothing fun like that happens in my neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying. My neighborhood is very spicy. They finally get him. And they bring him out. It was a woman that got him. It was a female police officer.
Good
for her.
Yeah.
She got him, brought him in, frisked him down. But everybody's got the cameras out now because they're expecting something to happen. The guy was very docile. He went along with everything like that. So they blocked off the street. They arrested him. They took him in. They were giving each other high fives and props because they chased him. I don't know what this man did, but it was enough to have 8 or 9 police officers chasing him in cars.
Wow.
After him. And so finally,
and you saw this happened right in front of your house.
Right in front of my house. Yes, right in front of my house. I do have pictures. I took pictures.
Oh,
I did
okay.
do that.
So everybody, next week we're going to look at these pictures that Les took.
Yeah, so you can see all the police officers. But anyway, they apprehended him. They put him in the car, and then I'd say within 15 minutes they had a tow truck come, and they absconded. They took his car, they towed his car, and they cleared the street, and it was like nothing had ever happened.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have anything spicy. The spiciest thing to happen in my neighborhood was we found a new rabbit that came out from under the bushes. That was like the spiciest thing that happened in our neighborhood.
Oh no.
Ain't nothing spicy happening here.
I have urban animals like squirrels and things like that. Squirrels are like the biggest, fascination that my cats have are the squirrels and the sparrows. But nothing out of the ordinary like a rabbit or anything like that.
I have
a couple of stray cats too, but nothing.
I have deer, coyote, hawks. We have falcons. Wow. We have bald eagles. It's like a National Geographic episode.
Oh, that's nice to me. That's what I grew up in. I miss that. But anyway,
it's amazing.
The only animals that I have here are the criminals that are being chased down the street.
I just have an image of that. Everybody's overweight. Everybody is huffing and puffing.
They weren't in shape, but they were huffing. They were like, whoo, whoo, whoo. And you could just see them. They were like, I don't know, they don't run that fast all the time. But they were, they weren't like what you see on TV. A police officer on TV that's like well fit and everything like this. This was authentic police chase.
Oh, you mean because those are actors?
Think about this too.
Those are actors that spend their day working out. Exactly. That's what you're looking at.
But the thing that you have to realize too, is police officers wear a lot of equipment that weighs a lot. So going and chasing and trying to apprehend somebody, and even if you have like a little extra weight on you, that's just like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But they were after this dude, and they took a woman.
Well, they got him.
Yeah, they got him.
She got him.
She got him. I don't. She's the one that walked him out from between the houses. I don't know what she did, but she walked him. He was peaceful when he walked out. They had guns drawn and everything. Wow. It was like amazing.
I do want to talk about one thing. Today is Trans Day of Remembrance. Actually,
yes, it is.
So I do want to just mention that it is Trans Day of Remembrance for transgender people. We do have, I'm sorry to be such a jarring alternate topic, but I do want to not forget to mention this. We do have an incredible epidemic of trans women of color that are being attacked and killed on a regular basis. And a lot of this is not put in the news. It's not, you have to search it out. Oh, thank you. You have to search it out to make sure that you get that information. Yeah. And it is a population that is just, again and again, and we'll talk about this a little later in the program, but again and again, they are subjugated, whether it be directly or indirectly. And, right out, I have a view of a big bridge. It's about 3.5 miles long that I can see from my home. And actually today, hey, Annebelle, welcome back. And tonight, that bridge is painted in the trans colors, in the trans flag colors. And I was just so inspired by that tonight.
I think that I'm going to tell you that I can't speak to the epidemic per se within the Black community. But I believe that what the problem is people are not educated about transgender men, women. And the thing is that if you knew what this was about, if you had knowledge of what this is about, there would be no fear attached to this. I don't understand why people are so afraid of, and mostly it's men brutalizing trans women.
That's right.
What they are afraid of when it comes to this, what they are afraid of. What comes into question here that you would fear something or someone so much that you would brutalize them? And it's something that's an epidemic within the Black community.
It is. It
Um,
is. Trans women of color are brutalized much, much more than other trans women. And honestly, if you look at the murder rate of trans women, the trans women of color are far higher
yeah,
than any other.
definitely.
It's
You know,
horrible. It's so
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. I remember HRC had a campaign, and they were talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, but they also said Black Trans Lives Matter. Um, I feel this way about it. If you have any question about someone who is transgender, please ask somebody. You don't have to ask anybody from the that is trans, but ask somebody who lives in that community, is aware of that community, that could speak to that, and educate yourself. Educate yourself on, you know, what this is, what's it mean. But these are individuals just like you and I who want the same things that you and I want. They want to be happy, they want to be married, they want to have kids, they want to have a normal life. We should not deny that simple human right for anybody. We should not. We don't have the right to do that. We don't have the right to do that. There's nothing different about someone who is trans. They are functioning people in society, albeit that they have difficulty because of the stigma that is attached to them. I remember when we were discussing at our job having bathrooms that were unisex bathrooms. And somebody made a comment to me who was not educated about this. I don't want a man who's posing as a woman to come into the female bathroom. And I said, why? And this person said, because I don't want him to be looking underneath my stall or whatever like that. And I looked at this person and I said, first of all, this individual believes that they are female. So what in the heck would they be wanting to look at you for? What would they be wanting to look at you? This is not being trans does not mean perversion, that or sexual predator or anything like that. You watch too many dang movies. That's exactly what that is. This is an individual who is female, has a female mentality, thinks just like you as being a female. This is how you have to think about that. Anything else than that, if somebody is looking under your bathroom stall, they're a pervert and they're a predator. There's a difference. There is a difference. But that's the association that most people have.
Well, I actually want to add something for you guys as well too. Yes. I'm from behind the scenes.
We summoned him.
Yes, you guys summoned me.
Are you part of a witch coven?
He's the witch coven.
I want to throw in like my straight card into this as well too, and only because of an experience. I grew up in the club scene, and there was a lot of clubs back then where it was guys and girls bathrooms were shared. When I mean shared, there was literally no mirror, and you looked into the other side of the bathroom, which was the girls' bathroom. So pretty much you can go on the guy's side, you can go on the girl's side because they were all stalls. Nothing like in between. And people forget that a lot of bathrooms that were for clubs were basically unisex bathrooms. So everything past 1998 to almost like 2015, certain clubs created unisex bathrooms just for guys and girls to meet in the bathroom. That was their whole entire purpose. So, and they were just stalls. Nothing more, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. They were just stalls. So something as strange as a bathroom has been around for such a long time, and for it to be new, for me, is totally strange when I was used to unisex bathrooms for a very long time.
Yeah.
So if a guy walked in doing his makeup, guess what? In the club scene, how many straight guys did their eyeliner? How many guys reapplied? Every single time some guy put on some chapstick, it looked extra sensual when some of the guys put on their chapstick.
Yeah. I think that what it is, though, Hash, honestly, it's not even the issue of having the bathroom. It's the issue that people have a stigma about someone who is, in transition, or someone who is trans, that they are perverted in some way. that they're molesters or that they're whatever. And I believe that the film industry has created this persona that we believe, this image, you
I
know.
absolutely believe that. I
Yes.
believe that anybody that doesn't fit and conform to our normal gender norms, I guess, that have been adopted across the world. If people don't conform to that, then they are said, or they were written, whether it's direct or even indirect, to be suffering from mental illness, to be psychopathic, to have all of these other problems going on in their mind. And I think that's really fear from the straight world being projected onto the trans world. That's how I interpret it. But it's always seen. We see this again and again as horror, as someone's sexuality being used against them, or they don't necessarily conform to the sexuality the sex they were assigned, and therefore it is the subject of horror within a lot of different TV shows and horror movies. I mean,
But can I stress that stigma, the majority of that stigma is placed on us by straight men.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. So I blame Harsh, actually.
Yeah.
You can blame me just because. No,
I do. Hash.
It's interesting because a lot of like people's perception of this, even up until as recently as 10 years ago, the communities were like cross-dressing and trans women were lumped in together. And because sometimes cross-dressing tends to take on a bit more of a sexual tone, there's just this view of it that even trans people, 10 years ago, when if you Googled trans resources, what you came across was a website that was a cross-dressing website. And
I'm not gonna lie.
like
I did have one experience, and that was within my mall right here in Long Island, in Roosevelt Mall, in Roosevelt Mall. And
we're all sharing where we live tonight. We're all sharing where we live tonight, y'all.
I have no problem. If I tell this story, I would think a lot of people would say, "Oh my God, I remember this." So there was a cross-dressing man at the mall that would purposely go into the women's bathroom to kind of sneak pictures. So there have been people that have ruined it for others,
but
and that's what sticks.
But no, understand, cross-dressing is different from being transgender.
That's for sure.
This cross-dressing is somebody does it because it's sexually stimulating to them to do this. Therein lies the difference. Transgender is someone whose identity may appear one thing, or they might be assigned one thing, but they believe within their whole heart that they are the other gender. And therein lies the difference. There is no sex attached to it. And I think that is the stigma that's attached to it. Yes, cross-dressing for years has been something that has been a sexual thing, where a man can be straight and a cross-dresser. A man can be straight because he gets turned on by wearing female clothing. Case in point, Ed Wood. Ed Wood's story. What's the story, you all?
Let me find the Ed Wood. It's called. Oh darn it! I'll find it.
So Ed Wood identified as male, but he was a cross-dresser, and that was sexually satisfying to him in some way. That's called
It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll get it. I'll get it.
But anyway, let's talk about some of these tropes and archetypes that
Glenn or Glenda.
Glenn or Glenda.
Glenn
exactly.
or Glenda.
Glenn or Glenda. Yes, Glenn or Glenda. I mean, he was trying to explain to society what he felt, and society at that time, as conservative as it was not ready for that presentation of him, and they made it so he had some kind of psychological issue. But what I do know that is when somebody is going in transition, they give you, before you have like the full surgery and everything like that, you have go through a psychological profile. They make sure that this is what you want to do. So to me, I think most people who are transgender have had more therapy than I could ever sum up to have. that because this is a thing that no, they want to make sure that this is what they believe and that this is who they are and this is how they identify.
Believe it or not, it depends on the state. They have something called informed consent, basically where it's like it's your body. If you want to do that, sure.
All right. That's
but some states require the therapy and the therapist like sign off for you to start.
Yeah. I think that I mean, I don't know what would be better based on that. All I know is that people must be their authentic selves. So let's talk about transgender in film. So one of the things that we talked about is the fact that the film industry, and in particular the horror industry, has given this persona that the transgender individual is messed up, is the killer, and the reason why they're motivated to kill is because they have not figured out their sexual identity. And I think a lot of that was predicated on the first film that we ever saw that dealt with that, which was Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. Now, actually, Psycho was modeled after the Ed Gein story.
That's right. Yeah.
Incidentally, Ed Gein killed women and actually put on he made things out of their flesh and he actually put the flesh on. But this was not because he had any issue with his sexual identity. He had an obsession with his mother. And nobody really knows to what extent that relationship was. If his mother was his lover or his mother was something like that to him. But this is what happened. And based on Ed Gein, which was such a horrific story at the time when it came out, people they now started associating this identity with that. They started doing that. So, I mean, I don't know how many women Ed Gein actually killed or murdered, but I mean, a lot of people have been created because of Ed Gein.
Isn't that the Silence of the Lambs guy?
That is exactly right.
Based on Buffalo Bill character.
Buffalo Bill. I've never seen it, but it's one that's often quoted as like the one trans person you hear about in media. So
That's right.
But Ed Gein actually exhumed bodies from the cemetery, and he took these bodies and he made articles in his home, lampshades, everything with the skins of these females. It's just it's just horrible.
And this was released in 1960,
right?
So it was right at a very interesting moment in time, right out of the 50s, where things were very, how do I say,
repressed.
Repressed is a good. Well, things are very people had different sort of assigned roles in society, and they played these assigned roles, and it worked for some people if you were privileged, and it didn't work for other people if you were not. So so the idea that you would have someone in 1960 that would be outside of those bounds was especially horrifying, and I think that's really where we see this theme of like, I don't know that this character of Norman Bates was trans. I just think he was gender nonconforming when he took the shape of the killer. And so you see the gender nonconformist characters take on the Hollywood movie monster character, right? This is the character. And what I want to say also is that there was actually another, now Hitchcock, we know, did this film. 20 years before this film, there was another film called Murder.
Yes, I do recall that.
That Alfred Hitchcock, also directed by Alfred Hitchcock, that also dealt with similar themes.
Don't you think it's very interesting that he took on this kind of a content?
I think it's terrific because we've seen, we've come to learn that Alfred Hitchcock had mother issues. He certainly had issues with sexuality and the way he treated women. His relationship with women certainly wasn't a healthy one, and we see that expressed in his movies as common themes.
So I'm sure that everybody has seen Psycho at some point in time, knowing that because we're not giving a spoiler here
Hmm.
about Norman Bates and everything like that. But I mean, this film, Anthony Perkins actually did this film. It was just amazing. It had Janet Leigh, Anthony Perkins, Vera Miles, and John Gavin in it. Oh, and Martin Balsam, by the way. People that were very popular and famous back in the days in the 50s, but it was a departure from Hitchcock's previous films like North and Northwest and all of that
Yeah.
other kind of stuff. This had an outstanding box office returns, and it had critical acclaim, and it has been. Um, I think that this has been put down in like the horror movie annals of all time.
Oh
Universal
yeah.
Pictures began producing follow-ups to this and sequels to this film. And just recently, we had the Bates Motel, which was a whole series I think that everybody was watching.
Really good
Second,
series.
yeah, this particular film has been preserved by the National Film Registry because of how famous this film was.
And the
So
soundtrack to this was fantastic.
yes,
It's
And
amazing.
the idea of embodiment of someone who is dead, or there's all sorts of Oedipal elements going on here about this son in love with his mother,
Mhm.
and then becoming his mother and taking over his mother. It's so eerie and
it's so
wonderful and
complex. Yes.
fantastic. And let me tell you, I forget his name now, the lead actor that played Norman.
Oh, you're talking about Anthony Hopkins?
And no, not Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Perkins.
Sorry, yes.
Anthony Perkins was incredible in
Yep,
this movie.
he was.
Every scene, you just are seeing behind his crazy
Yeah.
eyes. It is such a pleasure to watch.
I think that it was amazing to see him in this film, knowing that he was unable to express his sexuality at that time. And
That's
so
true.
I believe that he pretty much used that repression and the ability not to live his life authentically. He used every element of that in the character of Norman Bates. It was not until years later that he came out that he was gay.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, he had a lot of inside internal stuff that helped him to really identify with that character.
Well, that's an example of a movie monster is based on a gender nonconformist
Mm-hmm.
as horror,
Mm-hmm.
right? As the monster.
As the monster. So the next film that everybody probably knows if you grew up
Oh
in the
my
80s was
goodness.
Sleepaway Camp. And if you had not remembered or Spyco was a little tame, but this by all means was part of the whole slasher genre, which had an amazing reveal at the end that horrified everyone. That horrified
I think
everyone.
reveal is the key word
The
here.
reveal in all kinds of in terms. This
So I have a confession,
You've never seen this.
You've never seen
Oh my goodness.
but I have a pretty good guess what the reveal might be.
Okay, so for anybody that has not seen Sleepaway Camp, let me just tell you what it is. It was released as Nightmare Vacation in the United Kingdom, and it was a 1983 American slasher film written and directed by Robert Hiltzik, who also served as executive producer. And it's the first film in the Sleepaway Camp franchise, because there have been others afterwards, that tells the story of a young girl sent to a summer camp that becomes the site of a series of murders shortly after her arrival. It stars Felissa Rose, Catherine Cammey, Paul D'Angelo, and Mike Kellen in his last screen appearance. It was released during the genre heyday when they were having all of these slasher films. And it has, of course, the most infamous twist at the end. It actually got positive critical response as a cult following. And there are people that wear these shirts to this day saying Sleepaway Camp, and everybody can identify. It's like, oh my gosh, the ending. I'm not going to try to reveal anything, but based on what we are talking about, you could kind of assume what the ending is. I do have a little bit of, I would say not enough footage, but I do have some pictures that kind of give an idea. But I will tell you, and I can't reveal the picture.
This is a family-friendly show, by the way.
This is a family-friendly show. But this is Felisa right here playing the role. And basically, was the typical summer camp type of archetype that we all know that we see like in Friday the 13th, which was sexually charged young teens being dismissive of the kids that they're supposed to be protecting, and then
And there's this young girl who is, a virgin and not ready to explore that side of herself and being thrust into this world of sexuality.
right. And she's shy and she's innocent, but of course all of the other young ladies that are around her, who are, in their sexual prime, or doing their thing, they're out there having sex, any disregard to what they're doing, and she is just the outsider. And the thing is that if you were during that time, you were innocent like that, you identified with this individual, which is what you fell in love with this individual. You wanted to protect her. You wanted to do anything, and then that is what made the end reveal so very shocking. So very shocking.
This is half of the photo of the reveal.
Yeah, this is half of the photo of the reveal. But man, Annebelle, you have to watch this. You have to watch it.
I'm intrigued now for sure.
Also, if you like campy horror movies,
Mhm.
so it's not just about a camp. It is campy.
Yeah,
It is super duper campy
Yes.
in a very 80s, early 80s way.
I can't believe I've never even heard of this.
Just the tightness of the shorts by most of the counselors is just horrifying.
Yeah.
That's like the scariest.
Is that a trend you miss, August?
I don't miss that at all. It looks painful. It doesn't look comfortable
Yeah,
at all.
80s. That was 80s. Nobody wore loose shorts back in those days.
I don't know. Like those are considered loose from
That
this
is
movie.
loose. That's loose right there. But there are some tight shorts that I didn't capture those. But that was all the jockey guys had the tight shorts on and stuff. But I think that the whole
I was like,
idea was
what
to
is this?
sexualize the characters.
I'm so curious about this movie now.
It is a trip. It is funny.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
actually really, really
I might
entertaining.
watch it tonight. Like I'm like, huh.
Oh, it's
You
worth
have
it.
to- You have to watch
It's
it.
worth
You
it.
definitely have to watch it. It is a classic.
As long as the witch coven doesn't come and kill me.
They're gonna come and watch it with you. What are you kidding?
Yeah, probably so. They might
It's a
be
good
fans
movie.
as well. They might be fans as well.
Hash is not a fan of Sleepaway Camp. Hash, I think you need to watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you would too, just for the sake of watching it. So the other movie that I wanted to do, because there are a few classics, but I just want to kind of let people know, based on those stereotypes that we've been talking about, some famous movies that probably most people have seen.
Mm-hmm.
This one is one of my favorites. This is Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. This had Angie Dickinson in it, Nancy Allen, Michael Caine. This is the classic 80s film that I love so much that I went to it's a typical Brian De Palma that has like a surprise ending.
I never saw this.
Oh my goodness.
See, I think I've seen this one.
Okay, so it was kind of like a neo-noir slasher. It has like a noir film.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Looks like a noir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. And it has like Michael Caine, Angie Dixon, like I said, Nancy Allen and Keith Gordon in it. And what it is it speaks to some murders that are happening in New York City. And this New York housewife who's, kind of sexually repressed goes out and has a one-night stand with this man. But all day while she's doing her thing and getting ready to come back home to her husband, there's a woman that's been following her all day. And at the end of her day, when she tries to go back to she leaves her wedding ring, I believe, at this man's house that she had this encounter with. There's a surprise there too in that. She gets back to the elevator, and this woman appears out of nowhere and kills her.
Oh.
But the thing is that this New York prostitute played by Nancy Allen sees the murder. She sees the murder and she witnesses it. So from all perspectives, it kind of has like a psycho type of feel and everything like that. But you think that this is a jilted lover type of scenario. And there is a reveal at the end.
Exciting. Is Angie Dickinson the one that gets killed?
Yes, and believe it or not, was the most shocking thing about this, because this was a big star back in the day, and
Yeah.
it still is. She's probably one of the sexiest women ever to live. You know, that's what she's been always touted as a sex symbol, a strong sex symbol for that matter. And then she gets dropped, killed in the first 10 minutes of the film. And it was like, people were like shocked. Oh my gosh. That in itself was shocking to everybody, but it actually pulled you in because this big time star gets killed.
It's like Scream and Drew Barrymore.
Exactly. It was totally a red herring, something that people didn't expect. They weren't expecting to see this big time star, get killed in the film. But it
Look at Michael Caine's hair.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
amazing.
Very beautiful hair. Yep. It's so good across, looks good on his face and stuff. But here's the woman that's been hiding in the shadows. And
she doesn't look suspicious at all, I don't think.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. Not with the glasses and the black.
She's out just for a shopping trip to Chanel.
She's just playing Randonautica. That's all she's doing.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say that it's one of the best Brian De Palma films that I've ever watched. And Brian De Palma, as you know, did Carrie. He did a lot of films. So that there's going to be a surprise ending at the end.
This actress was in Carrie, right?
Yes, she was. And Brian De Palma, I think she was actually married to Brian De Palma. So she was in his film. So I think she's still married to him. I'm not sure.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. But she always plays like a little bad girl, except in RoboCop, by the way, where she plays RoboCop's partner, which was one of my favorite movies.
I love that. It's amazing.
But yeah.
Oh.
So here's so this is
the moment.
This is the moment where she, the girl witnesses the murder of Angie Dickinson and everything. So it's really a good film. I highly recommend it. I think you all should see it if you haven't seen it this weekend, and we can come back and revisit this. But one of the best films. But based on what we've been discussing, as you know, that there is a plot twist. That's all I'm going to say. So expect it. But
so
once again, one of those scenarios where someone who is dealing with their sexual identity is
the monster, the killer.
The monster, exactly.
So where I actually heard about this film, there's a Netflix documentary called Disclosure. And if you haven't seen it, everyone should watch it. But the whole topic is trans representation in media. And they actually have, like, the first half of it or so is maybe about horror movies and, how trans people are shown as monsters.
Sure. That's
but
amazing.
They talk about this movie, plot twist.
Yes.
Plot twist on this episode.
The plot twist of this particular movie.
Yeah, that's it. I would highly recommend that documentary. And, watching it as a trans person, it's something that I can say is head on. These representations are horrible, but it was the only representation we had to watch.
That's it.
So,
and
which has shaped the opinions of everyone today.
Exactly. That's
like it was the only things with trans people in it for a while.
That's why people are scared of trans people.
Yep.
This is how they're portrayed. We kill people.
Yeah, but this is a good movie for suspense sake. But I mean, very good movie and classic Brian De Palma. Very classic, but very, very good. So the next one that we want to talk about, and I think everybody knows about this film.
Wait, let me guess. Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Silence of the Lambs is the typical, anybody born in Annebelle's generation, and maybe for that matter, yours too, August, knows about Silence of the Lambs. And about Buffalo Bill and this.
Oh, yes.
It's a movie that I never got to actually watch, but...
What? Wait, what?
But I knew there was a trans representation in it, so I always tried to catch it on TV growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So you still haven't watched it? And Annabelle, I don't know if I could be friends with you anymore.
I don't watch Jodie Foster movies.
Oh, really?
Oh.
No, that's a
I was going to say, do tell.
We have history.
now we're tingling tea. Come on.
Really. We're definitely. Let me sip on that one. What is it about Jodie Foster? No, I think that this storyline here was not so much about Buffalo Bill as it was the relationship between Hannibal Lecter and
Starling, yeah.
Starling. But this character, I think, was more representative of Ed Gein, and they wanted to make it as horrific as they could possibly do it. And by using this modern day image of an Ed Gein is what was the driving force of that. Unfortunately, you know, it's the typical stereotypical trans story, and I don't know if I guess it couldn't make it as interesting. I'm sure they could have found some other type of trans killer, or no, not trans killer, but just another type of a serial killer.
They went deep on the trans.
They went very deep
bizarreness of this character.
Yes.
I mean, it was that line. I can't say it. Would you? I would. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then you just see the instability of this obviously mentally ill person that is just portrayed as a trans person. And what we're looking at now is the skin suit.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, I will give this away and not necessarily give away any type of spoiler. But this particular serial killer was trans and was making a female suit for himself. There's a famous scene in here where he's dancing.
Yep.
That everybody knows about.
There it is. That's the scene.
Yeah, it's a famous scene about it. That he's dressed I guess as a female, or getting to that point and dancing in front of the mirror, glorifying and the shedded skin of his victims, basically. And it was, I have to tell you, this scene right here, I'll never forget this scene.
Well, he emasculates himself in this scene.
Yes. Yes. I'll never.
I even know this scene, and I've never seen the movie.
Yes, and of course I couldn't show that, but
of course,
but it was just like he was reveling in it. But it didn't have to be that the catalyst of the murders was based on the fact that this person was admiring his body. And I can say that all of us have done that at some point, put on something and danced in front of the mirror, or did whatever, looked, say, "Ooh, I look good," and everything like that. But
I do that every day.
Yeah. that's why you're late to meeting. Anyway,
always.
So that was just one of the most famous, but of course it was that trope, that stereotype.
Yeah.
Of a transgender individual being, transgender individual,
literally the monster. I mean, and portraying the sort of gender nonconformity in a way that is sick, in a way that is off-putting, mentally ill, not something that is natural, not something that is normal, but completely abnormal, and moving over into the world of psychopathic, which is of course what you see here. Right. So these are the images, and these are the stories that are directed by very famous directors and starring very famous people and win Academy Awards, and everybody knows about them of certain generations. These are the messages these are the signals that we're receiving about transgender people, again and again, especially those people that do not know anybody who is transgender, They don't see this in their world at all. They're not exposed to it. This is the only excuse me understanding that they have of transgender. I think that's I think that can have a very negative impact.
Yep, it definitely can. It definitely can. I think that what we can sum this up is that I think that you definitely, anybody that has any question about this community, to educate yourself, to educate yourself. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, um, the movies are a fantasy. They're not often modeled after real life, but there are other movies out there that have a more positive reflection of, trans life. I think that you should watch those movies. I think that you should watch, documentaries about this. But don't use a horror film to get your resource, to get your, because the horror film is there to shock and awe, and it is far removed from reality. It definitely is. Um, so it's just it's unfortunate that the horror movies kind of play on the stereotypes that all of us know, and that sometimes is effective in a horror movie, but it is not the correct. Um, it's not the correct story.
One additional thing that I just want to say is that we often, when gender nonconformity is used in horror, it can also be used as like sort of gender nonconformity as a tragedy, as a people can be seen as tragic figures for some reason.
Yes,
We
true.
receive that message quite a bit in The Crying Game, for example, or Boys Don't Cry, or Dallas Buyers Club. These are all examples of very popular movies that have people really struggling with trans, and either are struggling internally or their transition is somehow destroying everything around them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's tragic for other people. So it's seen as a very powerful tool used in the cinema to sort of propel a tragedy, which I think is a really horrible signal to give.
Um, and I will say this about Boys Don't Cry. Boys Don't Cry was based on a true story, but this was also one of those situations where someone didn't understand it and they brutalized someone as a result of it.
Hmm.
So
That's right.
I will tell you, I do have a Brandon Tina story. I actually met him on a flight.
Really?
Yes.
Tell
I will
me.
tell you about that. Oh, we can't go into that because I don't have too much time, but I will definitely
No.
revisit that
Wow.
because we have like 10 more minutes. But that actually did happen to me.
Wow.
So so with that being said, uh, as you know, we always want to end our episodes with a missing person report. We're hoping that just based on anything that we do here, that you might see somebody, know somebody that has seen somebody, but we know somebody is missing a loved one, um, out there. This particular month, because it is Native American Heritage Month, and something that is very dear to my heart, we're focusing on missing and murdered Indigenous women. Um, this is an epidemic that is happening within the United States, and not too many people know about it. They're the thing about it is like they go missing from a res or they're missing in a community while they're working and everything, but they're just looked at as a non-person. And somebody is missing a mom, a sister, an aunt out there. Tonight we want to focus on Tina Marie Finley. Tina, let me give a little description on her story. She was missing from Plummer, Idaho on March the 8th, 1988. Hash, can you bring this up a little bit, please? She was born on August 25th, 1962, which means she's 58 years old, like me today. She has brown hair. She's 5'6". She was born in Washington. Her eyes are brown. She's 135 pounds the last time of her when she was seen, and she is, of course, Native American. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to the location of Tina. When she was 25 years old, she was a 25-year-old member of the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho tribe of Indians and has been missing since March 8, 1988. She was last seen in Plummer, Idaho, and was reported missing days later. The investigation suggests she may have been the victim of foul play. This case is being investigated by the FBI's Coeur d'Alene Resident Agency and the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Police Department. If you have any information concerning this case, please contact the FBI's Salt Lake City Field Office tip line at 801-579-6636, or you may be able to contact the local FBI office or the nearest American embassy or consulate. Our heart goes out to anybody out there that is missing. We know that that hope never dies. And so we just want to keep you encouraged. And if there is somebody that knows anything about this particular case, knows anything about Tina's disappearance, please just go and let somebody know, because that's somebody's loved one out there. Thank you for watching this nice episode of the Tingling Tea. We'll be on, actually, not this Friday coming up because it is Thanksgiving. So we want to make sure that you all enjoy your holiday. We'll be back December with some new content. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And on this day of Thanksgiving, make sure that you give. Instead of being with your family and doing everything like that, which is going to be very hard for a lot of people during this time of COVID, please just give to people who are in need. Thank you and have a good night.